Hi, we are back for another lovely and wonderful week. So it's good to be back. How is everything going with you, Vagabond?
I am awesome. How about yourself?
I am doing amazing. It has been a good week, but we'll get into that. So let's get into our catch up. So what's been going on with you this week,
I,
Vagabond?
I saw an amazing movie, The Woman King. Amazing, amazing, absolutely just a brilliant movie.
Uh,
The cast is fantastic. They're fantastic. And Viola Davis, as always, she brings it. And it's such an
mhm.
insult to call her, some have referred to her as the Black Meryl Streep. I'm like, no, she's the one and only Viola Davis. I mean, in fact, she's traveled the same roads as she did. But the one thing that she was saying
Right.
is, pay me. If you see me, it's the same, pay me. So hopefully she's getting her just due. The cast, it just had a lot of breakout stars, and I've looked
Okay.
at the background, and a lot of those folks were of African descent, some British. I don't want to give too much about the movie away, but the main lady with the whiskey, folks know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a British actor. So I just think they're just fantastic. And they're all just, it was just a fantastic movie. Black Panther 2 is going to have to bring it. They just did a phenomenal job. So
Okay.
I love seeing that.
Okay.
Yeah, how
Okay.
about yourself, Blue? How's everything going?
So, so let me get into my week. So my week was actually really good. I accomplished a lot of things, working on another business venture
Hmm.
that is potentially going to be a huge, 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 huge thing with they're already potential investors with this one. So this is like a big, big, big deal. So just kind of seeing how things play out with that. But for the most part, my week has been good. Of course, the weather is starting to change, which fall is my probably one of my favorite times of year because it is like the weather starts cooler, so I could bring out the sweaters and just look cuter to me. But I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to this time of year again with so many things going on. I did want to comment in regards to the Woman King. So I'm not putting any hate on the movie, no hate at all, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure as educated and as informed as you are.
Know what
I'm
you're about to say. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm really, really, really like I want to support Viola Davis. Please believe I do. But I'm really like on the fence about seeing it because of just the historical
Mhm.
inaccuracies with
Mhm.
it and how it glosses over a lot of true history and just the enslavement of Black people.
Yeah.
So I'm really kind of on the fence with that one. But but you already knew you already knew like you already heard some of the backlash. So let me ask you this: did you know that before you went to see it, or was this after you saw it? You started hearing about stuff.
It was after I purchased my damn ticket. That's when I found. So I'm like, well, shit, I already don't purchase it now. So shit, I gotta go. But
Okay,
for what it was, it was what it was.
okay,
But I think I was just more impressed with seeing all of this blackness on the films,
beautifulness,
and it was
yes.
just a beautiful. And then women, of course, just their role. So it was just a beautiful thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was. But that historical point of view, like that's the part I'm like, I know exactly where you're going with it, and I thought about that too.
Yeah, that's the only reason. But I would probably just watch it, like on a Fire Stick or something like that. But again, I want to support her while it's still in the theaters, just because it's her, and I feel like she deserves, a lot of press and a lot of accolades and things like that. But I'm still kind of on the fence about that. So,
She does, because I think about all the films supporting other folks, and I watched
hmm
that were just not historically accurate, and I've supported,
hmm
so I never questioned. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just support.
okay,
Sometimes, unfortunately, you take a step back to get forward, but we're in a much better place,
okay.
as Black folks in film than we were. So I'm like, I got to support. But no, I'm with you on that though. It's like, damn it, I done bought this. I can't. There's no refund.
Yeah, it's like you can't go backwards now. It is what it is. So you just
Had an
gotta kind of stick with it.
interesting situation too. The movie was like, it was like a lot of black folks running the theater that night, and
Uh,
the movie was like a half an hour. Like they were a half an hour late playing the damn film. So I'm like, I know it's a black film, but damn, you don't have to be late either.
well, no, no, let me say this, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of going to the theaters any longer. Of course, with streaming and being able to watch things at home, but there's nothing better than actually going, having that cinema, that theater experience, watching on the big screen with the surround sound, shaking your seats and all that. But when you go to see a movie these days, like you said, there's 30 minutes of previews about other movies. And then I'm real funny, like because I love movies. I'm such a movie goer that when I go, I'm so tunnel vision focused, but I'm easily distracted. So when I hear people talking or their cell phones, let me stop this real quick. People out there, when you go to the movie, put your damn phone up, put it on silent, put on do not disturb. There are people who don't want to see the lights. Don't want to see you texting. If that's the case, keep your ass at home. Wait to get on the Fire Stick. Wait till you can see it in the comfort of your own space where you can be as loud as you want. You could be on the phone. That shit is distracting. It pisses me the fuck off. So that's why I don't go to the theater.
Oh, I get it. I was impressed. Everyone was behaved. Even though they were late with the movie, folks were like, I got up and I went and talked I got the police officer. I'm like, that person right over there, can you? So they went behind wherever they had to go and get the movie started. So they didn't even realize the movie wasn't playing. But everyone was
Okay.
patient. I
Okay. Good.
mean, it was, there was black folks in there. Like I would
Hmm.
say you had, some colonizers in there, but it was mostly black folks. And it was just like they were just chill. Like they were chill. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, all right, you guys are patient. It's great. Because normally, because we turn up, like, you need to play this movie. I don't pay my money. I got things
Exactly.
to do. But I'm with you on that though.
Okay.
Folks weren't on the phone. Everybody was just chill.
Okay.
It was a
Okay.
great time.
Um, Off the air, you got to tell me where you went so I can
Oh,
actually
I'll let
go
you know.
start frequenting that theater because the ones I go to, they're they're in very nice neighborhoods, but of course,
I know.
us, we got to
Mm-hmm.
go to the nice areas and then
Mm-hmm.
fuck it up. But anyway,
Yep. We went to this nice area and I'm like, these are my people.
okay,
You fuck up, they
okay,
ain't my people. I mean, hey, that's just how it is.
okay, yeah, you're gonna have to share that
I got you.
that information with me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get into our touch this week. So let's talk about let's start off with George Floyd in regard to his murder and things like that. The ex-cop who was sentenced on Wednesday. So you want to start us off, Vagabond?
Yeah. This former Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane, who pleaded guilty to a second-degree manslaughter charge in the killing of George Floyd. His role in this was he held Floyd's legs down while Derek Chauvin, knelt on Floyd's neck for 9.5 minutes on May 25th of
Mm,
2020,
mm,
and Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. So Lane pleaded guilty in May to a state charge of aiding and abetting second degree manslaughter.
mm.
And state prosecutors and Lane's attorney had jointly recommended a 3 year sentence. So over a WebEx, that's what he was given, 3 years. And as a part of the plea deal of abating and abetting second degree murder, his Lane's attorney said that the client has a newborn baby and did not want to risk not being in the child's life or possibly, losing the murder case and facing a mandatory of 12 years. So that's the deal that he was given, and he got the deal that he wanted. Oh, and I guess he's prohibited for possessing firearms and ammunition for the remainder of his life. But it's like you still get the better part of it.
Okay. So let me say, first of all, a comment about his attorney, pleading because he has a small child. It's so interesting how when scenes like this play out, um, white people use, you know, things to try to get that sympathy, play the sympathy card. But when it comes to Black lives, there's no sympathy whatsoever. People are just stopped. They're automatically assumed that they're gangbangers, drug dealers. If they're in a nice car, okay, you didn't work hard to get this and everything. And then you'll see video footage of white people getting pulled over and they'll be cussing, they'll push the officer, they will spit at them. They will literally tussle and fight with them. And there's no injury. They don't tase them. There's nothing serious that happens. But as soon as a Black person actually starts acting like they're going to do something, you just immediately pull your gun out and shoot. Whatever. I have no sympathy in regards to this one. But the thing that, and just in my research on this one, I thought was really interesting because he said that, let me see, um, he erroneously thought he might have to register as a predatory offender, saying his role was minimal when compared to Chauvin's. And
Mm.
it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And he got belligerent because he said, I got to register as a predatory offender. What the blank is that?
It's like
What?
it goes to show you right there that there was no change.
Mm-hmm.
There's no change. When I'm like, dude, you took part in killing a man. You held his legs
Mm-hmm.
down. Like you were part of that. You should have gotten that 12 years, even more, because the Floyd family is never going to be the same. Like they don't get that time back. That time he wants with his child, they don't get a chance to be with their child, their brother, their uncle.
Exactly.
He has a daughter, I believe. So he doesn't.
Yeah.
His daughter, she doesn't get her father back. So, but that sympathy game, it worked. Hook, line, sinker.
It's just so sickening to me that again, you know, white people are instantly able to, you know, especially white women able to pull the tears, these imaginary tears that just come out of nowhere, and it's just the worst thing ever, and you're bullying me and da 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 da. But they are quick to try to just call us out for any and everything. It's just ugh, it's a horrible system. The system is so broken. And instead of sending billions upon billions over to another country, why not fix some shit here? And again, I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's just aggravating and it's disheartening that you got so many broken systems here, but we're trying to fix and repair a system over there.
I No argument here. No argument here. And although he didn't cry, alluding to what you said about a white woman's tears, although the dude didn't cry, his uniform got him what he needed. But speaking of which, a white woman's tears, like there's a bomb that the Russians were building back in the 60s called the Tsar Bomba. And this
Mm.
thing was more devastating than anything that was ever created.
Oh
And
wow.
they had to scale it back 50% because if it didn't, it probably would destroy the pilot. So I say that to say a white woman's tears is far more dangerous than the Tsar Bomba.
Oh my gosh.
So look up the Tsar Bomba. There's actually a launching of it. This is the most devastating thing ever. They scaled it back 50%, but it was still felt around the world. This thing was just a white woman's tears that probably caused more deaths than this thing can ever cause.
I would
So,
have to, unfortunately, have to agree with that.
so yeah, he pretty much got off. And I can't say if I was one of the Floyds, one of the family members that I don't know how I would react. I'm like, you're
Hmm.
out walking around. Can I just, am I able to let you get by and just say, hey, you're out, I'm out. I don't know. Like I can come see you.
It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you know, as part of the plea arraignment in the state courts, prosecutors dropped a more serious count of aiding and abetting second
Yes.
degree unintentional murder. They also said they would seek a sentence of 3 years that he could serve it at the same time as the federal one. So again, as we see, even in this particular situation, they make they provide liberties to white offenders, whereas black offenders, no, you going to jail. It's just it's 40 years to life or whatever they say. I'm
Yeah.
just tired.
I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised.
No, not at all. Not at all. It there has just not been. justice. And I understand people think that, Black people are always crying wolf or that we're overreacting and, white people get locked up too. Yes, but there is a there is a persuasive fact of how blacks are looked at more as criminals. Blacks are um, targeted more in situations. Now it's even gotten to the point where white people are so emboldened that you could be trying to come into your home and they'll block the door and say, "Well, I need to see your ID." How
Yep.
are you policing the building? And I shouldn't have to show you nothing. There's no right for you to say that. There's not a citizen arrest being done or anything like that. So to go through all of this, it's just sad. And going back to what we were talking about last week about, it's two sides of a coin as far as our our politicians. They both are culpable in this and they allow these things to go on. And I know one person can't make a change. There are good Republicans like there are good Democrats.
Yes.
There's good on both sides. But to turn a blind eye and not try to make things more even scale for Black people is sickening. And then going back to a previous episode we did many, like in our first season, talking about how something happened in the Asian community and it was done the next day. The hate crime bill was out. You can't do this. You're going to jail. Da, 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 all this stuff that happened. But there has been nothing that's been put in place to protect Black bodies. I don't feel bad.
No, and off the record, just seeing some folks, I know I got a call from Philly, and there was particular Asian stores that same week they had beefed up enforcement that was outside their stores protecting them. So, matter of fact, I think that change begins with us, and we have to get
Hmm.
tired. In fact, I had this thing that happened this week. I forgot to mention in the catch up. I
Okay.
was invited by some of the fellas to Monday night football, and you know how I feel about the NFL. So I'm like, no, I don't participate in that. I'm done with the
Hmm.
NFL. So all of that plays a role, and I couldn't be around them anyway because it is sickening to my stomach to say, well, you're the reason why I'm going to have to fight harder. It's why my nephews, my children, whoever, because when you hurt a business's bottom line, that's when they begin to say, okay, we're taking them seriously. So yeah, they will
Hmm.
just see us as, oh, they're going to march again, and they're going to
Yeah.
sing, and they're going to get Al Sharpton, and we get to see what hairstyle he has next. I love Al. I'd like to mess with him, but
Of
that's
course. You can't
but
mess with
that's
Al.
but that's all we're going to get out of them, and then we
Exactly.
can continue to do what we do. So I can't wait till we get tired as a people and take a stand.
Yeah.
Things will change.
And speaking of getting tired, I think Black people are tired. However, I feel as though Black people, and I don't mean this in a well, I mean in a negative connotation, but not as a broad statement of all Black people. But Black people are the definition of insanity because we do the same shit over and over and expecting something different to happen. No, at some point, the marching, the protesting, the praying, and all this, we have to start doing. Taking other means, and I don't mean it always has to go to a violent level. However, like you said, if we stop spending our money with these people, trust and believe things will change immediately because Black people have so much power in
So
just our spending dollar and we spend money on bullshit. We are so we we trying to impress each other because we want favor with the white person, but it's not doing us anything. We're broke. We don't have anything in the bank. If Lord forbid, if some of us, probably 75% of Black people, if there was something an emergency that happened, you don't have $1,000 saved up. You can't pay it. You don't have 6 months of expenses to be able to handle, take care of things if something were to happen. We live by a paycheck to paycheck mentality, and we just want to show out for each other when I don't give a damn what you're doing. I don't give a damn what you're doing. We need to be thinking about long term and playing the strategy better than what we have been doing. It's not cute to get a PPP loan and go to Tulum and then be on social media media showing your PPP money and you making it rain. What kind of shit is that? That's stupid. So you don't think the government, you don't think your employer, you don't think anybody who has access to the same shit you post and everybody else has access to see it. And once you put it out there, it's out there. So any of our videos that we're doing or our podcasts, anything like that, it's out there in the lexicon. So at some point, or in the zeitgeist, at some point, somebody can pull this up, and just like with a lot of other things, they can take a sound bite, and they can destroy our whole career because they took one portion of what we said without taking the whole context.
Agreed. But you gave me an idea though. The next time I see a damn march with black folks, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out there with some shoes. Be like, you know what? Since you're out here marching, you need to buy these shoes right here. I'm gonna get the cheapest shoes, on the sites, and then I'm gonna mark up the price. I'm gonna give you some shoes, and then I'm gonna have what? Some Bibles, some Qurans, and whatever holy book that Buddha, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever religion you are, I'm gonna have those books. Here, take one of these also, but let me sell you some shoes. I'm gonna take advantage of, hey, if we're not gonna take a stand in a way, I'm gonna take advantage of the situation. You're gonna be seeing me out there selling some shoes. You want to march? Because march is cool, but you gotta take a stronger approach. I'm gonna be out there selling shoes.
Okay. Well, I definitely, I'll be on the sidelines looking at you like, oh my God, here you go.
I sell it. I told you it was gonna work.
And the sad part is you will have people who will be coming up to you trying to purchase something just because of that. And I think too, going back to what we were saying about the dollar, too, we need to start supporting Black businesses, spending our money within Black neighborhoods and Black areas. And I know that our number one complaint is Black people charge too much and all these kinds of things, but you have to think about it from a goods and services standpoint. A lot of time, Black businesses have to pay a lot more for their services
Yep.
because they're not requesting millions of units. They're requesting hundreds of units. They have to pay a higher premium, a higher price for that. So of course they have to pass it on to their consumers. But if we frequent them more, they can buy more and then their prices will stabilize and be just like everybody else's. But we don't think like that. We just think, that okay, the shit is too expensive, but I can go here and I can get it for the low. Then also too, Black businesses. Let me say this to y'all. I'm looking directly at the camera. What I need y'all to do is stop treating us like we're second class citizens when we come and patronize you. We're coming in to try to help your business, and you are quicker to push us to the side to help out somebody else of another ethnicity. That shit right there has to stop. If you want our business, you have to start treating us like you want our business.
No,
Okay,
I
I'm
love
sorry.
no, no. You dropped some gems. You dropped some serious gems, and you're right. Matter of fact, I walked into a black business the other day. I
Hmm.
saw the guy on his phone. He didn't say shit. I'm like, okay, white man walked in. How you doing, sir? I'll walk the hell out of there. I will walk out on you, and I will go across the street and spend my money somewhere else. If it's all about customer service. So, like you said, just
Exactly.
because you see me, I expect the same level of service. And also, I'm gonna look at you also, black businesses. I love the smells. Stop selling T-shirts and soap with the African flag. Sell some other shit too. Like I want some other shit. Like sell some other stuff. Like I want something else.
No, I completely understand it. Yeah, everything does not have to be labeled Motherland Secret or or Black Opal, a diamond, something, something, trying to make these catchy names. Just sell us good products
That's it.
made for Black people that's not going to kill us like the products that white people are selling to all of y'all toothpaste, y'all soap, y'all deodorant, y'all hair care products, all of the hair that you're going to get to put in your hair, all these things, it's set up against us. We have to start doing things that are safe for us and our families. Ugh.
Agreed. And it's funny we're talking about money because if you have nothing else, that brings us to our next story about McDonald's. And McDonald's ordered to face Byron Allen his $10 billion discrimination suit. So Byron Allen, for those who don't know, he's a CEO of Entertainment Studios, businessman, TV producer, comedian, philanthropist with a network of 450 million. And he's filing that $10 billion lawsuit against McDonald's. And the U.S. judge has ordered the franchise to appear in court. So he's filing that lawsuit alleging that McDonald's has engaged in discrimination by deciding not to advertise with Black owned media. And
Mhm.
he was saying that like if you've heard of Roland Martin, he's a part of that as well. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say he's basing this on economic inclusion, meaning like if those companies get the right partnerships, it and support, it allows them to, let's say, hire other talented Black people,
Mm-hmm.
and then that provides them with the tools, resources that allows them to develop and have financial strategy for life. It just gives more opportunities and it closes in the gap. So he's arguing that McDonald's brings in over $100 billion a year, but yet they spend less than 5 billion on Black-owned media. And he was saying that the workforce is greatly Black. A lot of the revenue comes from Black people. So he's just saying that he's just trying to close the gap. He's trying to close the trade gap to tell corporate America, you're going to have to come better when it comes down to Black America. We want our share of the pie as well.
And now that I completely agree for McDonald's and being just their discriminatory practices or alleged discriminatory practices against, Black media and things of that nature. It's insane. And the crazy part is, so one, when you said 450 million net worth, I was like, and so that's why I kept looking down because I was actually looking it up. I was like, I know Brian Allen has to be like worth a billion at least, but he's not worth a billion. But the thing is, he is he owns, I think, his conglomerate is so expansive and so amazing. Yeah, yeah. As it says, Allen accused McDonald's of relegating his Entertainment Studio Networks Inc. and Weather Group LLC, which owns the Weather Channel. What the hell?
Yes.
So let me back it up a little bit. Let me say this. Black people, we need to start celebrating our Black business people, male or female, whatever. We need to start supporting them. We need to start speaking up and giving them accolades for what they're doing. For a Black man to own the Weather Channel, what the fuck? Y'all need to get it together.
Yes, yes, he's in it, and then he just raises the question because I know a lot of times when Black folks talk money, a lot of times they want to talk extortion, and I mentioned his network because it's like, well, it's not I mean, he just wants his piece of the pie. So if he was one of those who didn't care, I believe he genuinely cares. She's like, well, I'm sitting on 450, and it could be more. That's just what was listed at that time. He
Hmm.
wouldn't care. He's like, I got mine, get yours. But he's raising the question as to why is it okay for Black America to do business with, let's say, and he's saying that McDonald's isn't the only company, but they're one of the ones that they're going after. So
Hmm.
why is it okay for Black America to do business with them, but they want to do so little with us? So what he's hoping to achieve in this, he says that he wants corporate America, to change how they do business with Black Americans,
Hmm.
and how we want to get our equal share. And he just wants to make sure that the trade is equitable for both sides. So he's seeking a meeting with McDonald's CEO Chris Kempinski, who is
Hmm.
the VP of Strategy Business Development, and hoping that he wants to look at him in the eye and see that if he will, I guess, provide more equity in this. So that's what he's hoping for.
Hmm.
So that's it in a nutshell.
So, and I do think that it's an atrocity for these big conglomerates to not to be advertising with Black entertainment groups or networks and things of that nature, because just like he said, and like you when you read, Black people go to McDonald's all the damn time. They go to all these fast food restaurants, and if you drive down any ABC Black neighborhood, and of course, as we all know, there's an MLK in every city. If
Yep.
you drive down to MLK, there has got to be, it's nothing but like fast food chain restaurants. It's nothing but check cashing places. It's liquor stores. It's everything that is bad for the Black community. And you mean to tell us y'all can't advertise with on our media, but you can sell your poison to us? That shit got to go.
Let me tell you what I saw that surprised me. I was surprised at how big the church, how big they were, because I went to this thing in Philly, and it was supposed to be about gospel, supposed to be about Jesus, but McDonald's was there. So it was, they never said Jesus one time. And 90% of the show was about McDonald's. And they had their, I guess, their black tokens or wherever they wanted to get there. So they were just trying to sell McDonald's. They were trying to push it. And these black folks were out there buying fries as if it was like the last thing on earth. They were just shelling these. And I'm sitting back just watching it. Hey, man, part of we're just sitting there watching this, like, what is going on here? So it was like a cult. So McDonald's has their hooks. I mean, they have their hooks. So this is exactly why he's raising things like this. Like when I saw that, I'm like, I totally see what he's talking about. So they make plenty of money off the black, uh, population, and they're putting very little in. So when I saw that, I'll never forget that image. I'll never forget that. I
That
will
is
never forget it.
insane. That's insane. And, in our reality, if the fast food chains were to take their restaurants out of Black neighborhoods, they would not be the conglomerates that they are today. That's the reason why they are what they are, is because there are probably, I can say this in our reality, and um black neighborhoods, or color, people of color neighborhoods. It's not just black neighborhoods, people of color neighborhoods, but you can almost within 5 blocks see a McDonald's. Now, when I'm in predominantly white areas, and I can say this distinctly. So when I first moved to the DMV, I used to live in an area, and it's definitely predominantly white area. And when I tell you there was one McDonald's in the
Facts.
whole area, that was the only fast food restaurant. There was no Subway, there was no Wendy's, there was no, of course, no KFCs or nothing like that. It was actually little restaurants, little neighborhood restaurants and things like that. But if you went maybe 5 miles into like a more Hispanic or an urban area, I promise you, there was a McDonald's, there's a Popeye, there's a Subway, all right across the street from each other. You go up maybe 5 blocks, it's the same thing. Insane.
That's facts. I mean, when I lived in Philadelphia, I
Hmm.
lived mostly in the area. They have a white community, Jewish,
Hmm.
and called West Mount area, Chestnut Hill, and they only had one McDonald's that closed. I believe it closed at 6 p.m. So, and then they're closed now, so it's not there anymore. I'm like, McDonald's is not going anywhere. Like that's gonna stay. But they closed down during the pandemic. I guess they just weren't getting the numbers. But like you said, in that black neighborhood, they would still be open.
Of
So,
course.
so you're right though. They have a lot of actual real restaurants where they're serving real food. In that particular area, they had the one McDonald's there. You didn't see the KFCs, the Popeyes, and all these other things that'll kill you. So
Mhm.
I just found it's funny you mentioned that because that's exactly what I saw. And so I'm glad I saw this because there's literally a golden arch just right now staring at me in the eyes. And now I have motivation not to go. I'm like, I'm not going there.
Well, I would hope that you wouldn't go anyway,
Yeah.
but it's not good for you. But yeah, I hope that he gets a very positive outcome from this. And I hope that it's not just a appeasing him, just to get them out, just to get the lawsuit dropped. I hope that he's able to actually get some financial recouping out of this, as well as just having it out there that, you know, having it on the record that we're going to start doing more business, which means more revenue for a lot of these Black networks.
Right. And hopefully he gets stuff in writing because they can always look at you in the eye and tell you what you want to hear because it's
Hmm.
good for media. And the judge is ordering them to show up. So they'll say
Yeah,
whatever they need to say
yeah,
to look good.
yeah. Like I said, I just hope that it's a serious situation, and I hope that they're able to, again, give him or write a check for the organization, his LLC, whatever, his corporation. But I also want it to be a situation where they do business, so there's an ongoing
Yeah.
money stream. And what I find interesting about this, and I don't know if other big wigs are hearing about this, but I would think like the Jay-Z's or the 50 Cents or wherever, would be, or I don't know if I want Kanye on this one, but I want, I'm shocked they haven't jumped on this to say, just to talk about it, and not saying they're trying to get anything out of it, but just to push this agenda.
I don't know why. I'm just a little leery on them. I just leery on them as far as I believe if I don't know if it benefits them, they would be in it.
Hmm.
And I don't see a direct benefit to them to get in this argument. So I don't see them getting involved in this. If it's a
Hmm.
direct benefit to them, then they'll stick their hand in it. But I see what you mean though. Like if they had those kind of names behind it because they
Yeah.
carry weight, then it would show that oh they're serious.
Yeah, that's just it. But
But
yeah,
Kanye
it's
might be an unsung hero because I know folks don't, like Trump. Trump did, a while ago, got those black basketball players out of that trouble when they had some trouble overseas. So
hmm
every now and then he does some things that surprises me. So he may have to pull that card, and I don't know because Trump is trying to win. Also, he's trying to get back, so he may pull a little favor, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll pander, but I'm gonna just read this real quick. So the lawsuit said blacks represent 40% of fast food customers, but McDonald's spent just 0.3% of its 1.6 billion US ad budget in 2019 on black-owned media. In May 2021, McDonald's pledged to boost national ad spending with black-owned media to 5% from
Whoa.
2% by 2024. It's just not enough. It's just not enough.
And keep in mind that executive gets paid approximately like a little under 11 million. So they're going to spend less on black media than what they pay him when you crunch the numbers. So that just gives you the numbers. So even if they increase, they're still under what they pay that one person.
11 million as a salary annual. That's insane. And I'm sure he is paying the least taxes of anybody
You know
else.
it. You know it. You
Okay,
know it.
I need a break to kind of get my mind wrapped around this. So let's just let me just take a break for a minute so I can get my head together. And we'll be back in just a few
All
moments.
right.
Alrighty, after a long, good breathing session, we are back. So let's get into something else that's interesting when it comes to people of color. So for the first time, Brazil's census counts Black communities founded by enslaved people. Vagabond, tell us what the hell this is about.
Okay. Well, for the first time in its 132-year history, the Brazilian census counts members of the Quilombo communities, which was founded by runaway enslaved people. And they see participating in the census as a strategy against resistance towards change. So this island is approximately 93% Black population. So one of the locals said that their goal is to avoid intentional invisibility. And they have hopes that this will improve and expand social services and rights guaranteed to the people into their neighborhoods as they have been, left off of official maps. And Brazil's their updated census is also a sign that there has been an increasing number of Black candidates that are participating in seats of power. And there's one that's held next month. And so yeah, they're just this is just giving them new hope that they will have services that have been denied to them mainly because they just been off the radar. So they will have a chance to come up and not be invisible. And think about Brazil, this has been a slow process because slavery there ended in 1888, making Brazil the last country to abolish the practice. So this is huge for the Colombo people and for Black people in general.
Yeah, this is this world. This little blue ball is just shady to Black people, people of color, just by any means necessary. But yeah, this is crazy that you are just like starting to count these people. So, and I understand that they're not on the mainland, so to speak, but yet and still, this is still part of Brazil. But I think that would be equivalent because isn't it a situation like, i- is there a census taken in U.S. territories?
That's a good question.
Yeah, see, I'm not for sure that one. And I mean, so I can kind of see it maybe because I would think that, no, because I think that when it comes to elections, like Puerto Rico, they don't really have a vote when it comes to that because I'm sure that that would change, that would be a whole nother demographic. But then I think from a logistical standpoint, it just calculating those votes and things like that, I don't know. And so maybe, we could research that a little bit more. But I just feel like it's horrible that, we still have places in the world where they're not counting certain groups of people.
Right. And we can't look at Europe this time. It's like, Bill, that's you. That's y'all.
But I mean, we can still look at Europe because they were colonized, their minds are
Well,
colonized. They
yeah.
still think, and I mean, the Portuguese are the ones who colonized
Yeah.
Brazil and they brought the slaves over. The Portuguese, their ships brought the slaves over and said, okay. And it just so happens that Brazil was very unique in the essence that the Portuguese and the Africans like commingled and they, like had kids and stuff, which makes that's why Brazil people have such beautiful hues and just their hair texture is a little bit different and things of that nature. But it's still a situation where there are still people of color.
Right. And I'm saying like at true. And I'm saying like at this point, it's like with so much that's been exposed, it's like, don't you think it's time for a change? So I'm glad that there is a change. And they have taken a lot also from African culture. Like for instance, capoeira. Capoeira was something that was created by Africans. And that was a way, like if for those who don't know what that is, that's it's a martial arts that's covered up as a dance, and they use that as a way to say they are going to revolt. So those who were able to escape into Brazil, they of course spreaded that style, and oftentimes folks will just say it's Brazilian, but it's really African in nature. So it's just one of those things everyone steals from us, and that's just what it is. But I'm
Yeah,
glad to see that these people are getting their just due, and I really hope that those citizens who are running for office, I hope that they get the seat and bring about the exposure that the Colombo people should be getting after 132 years of just being invisible.
I completely agree. And, again, it just shows that, because of course our podcast is dominantly, like most of our listeners are here in the US, but this just shows that even around the world, people are people of color, people who have different hue colors than Europeans, very light Europeans, just to show the magnitude and how they are treated, how there's a difference. Any country in the world, the darker you are, the more impoverished you are, and that's established based upon the country, based upon the people. They have just been conditioned because going back to last week and the week before, we were talking about the Queen of England, they have been colonized by the Europeans. So, as a result, and basically, let me say this, and I think this is it's giving a little bit props to the royals, only because this one family over centuries have have changed the world to think in a certain way because they're all, their family members and things. I was watching something on, it wasn't Netflix, I think it was on YouTube or something, but they were talking about, just certain things of like the royals and how like certain inbreeding diseases were passed along. Like Queen Victoria, I think I can't think of everything, but basically whatever it was, it didn't affect her, but she passed it on to her grandchildren. So and her children and her children's children. So basically the illnesses and diseases and things, because they were all queens or princesses or kings or whatever, princes in other countries around the world, they became this way. And of course, that's how diseases spread. You know, okay, yes, I have this, but then I'm going to intermingle. It's just a mess. So I feel as though um the colonization of this earth is predicated to one damn family. The financial system of this earth is predicated to a few families, and they are running shit. And we as Black people are killing each other and worrying about stupid shit like what kind of clothes you got, what kind of car you got, and you stepped on my shoe.
This dumb, dumb shit. And it just shows you that this thing is bigger than it's. You're right about that, and it's bigger than just our neighborhood. Like this thing is, like you say, it's global. It's big,
Mhm.
and it's been happening. We do it to each other, and it's been done to us. So it's this thing is, yeah. It's. I was like, wow, really? Like when I first saw this, I was just like, wow, it took you 132 years.
It's just crazy. But I mean, that's the same situation. Like even though slavery was abolished here, you had certain parts of Texas that didn't know it for 2 years
Hmm.
later. And then even after it was abolished, there was still servitude, and there still is servitude going on in this country with the prison system. So even though there was a formal Emancipation Proclamation, it's still shit going on. And now we have it where there are legal killings of Black people. Instead of being lynchings, now it's just police brutality killings.
And I found out some stuff I didn't know about. I guess Lincoln. He kind of on my tar. He's on my radar now. He's on my list. I guess apparently, maybe this is known that I guess there was some type of reparations for white folks who lost, I guess,
They're
enslaved people.
slaves,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I guess it was mostly in I guess in the DC area, I believe. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it was like all over, but so it's just like okay, okay,
Yeah.
Mr. A. So it's just one of those things. There's all sorts of slick shit happening
Mm-hmm.
under our nose. So they get their cut right off the top, but okay, but we don't. We're still waiting on ours.
Exactly. And again, we as Black people, people of color, are concerned about the wrong shit.
Yep.
Because in the big scheme of things, it's so many distractions going on that they're really shakers and movers or chess pieces being ran without us even knowing it. And we're so worried about stupid, ignorant shit when there's real shit really going on in this world.
Yeah, we're playing checkers and not chess. We got to catch
And,
up.
well, I don't even know if we playing checkers.
Oh
I think
shit.
I think we playing what's the one, jacks. We
Oh,
we
Jack
doing
Rocks.
some
Oh
stupid
shit.
shit.
Oh shit. I love Jack Rocks.
We definitely not focused on the real game that's being played. And even though we haven't been taught the game, we there's certain parts of the game that we have learned and we've picked up on, and yet and still we're still not able to partake in the game because we just let shit pass us by.
And there's so much information out here. It's not like when we had to look at encyclopedia, to get our information. Hopefully, you have the right thing on television. I mean, that's pretty much what we got. The man would remember the man that would come knock on your door, trying to sell
Hmm.
encyclopedias, and
The
you might get,
Britannicas,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
you might get K and L. Like, oh, but come back and I'll get the other ones
Hmm.
later. But if you were special, you get to get the entire thing. But rarely did you get the entire thing at
Yeah,
once. So that's how we got our information. But now there's so much information on those phones that they carry, or so
exactly.
there's just
But let me say that there's a lot of information on those phones and there are a lot of little computers we carry around with us, but there's a hell of a lot of misinformation
that's
out there
true.
too, which continues to divide us and have us barking at each other and barking at, well, this person said this, or you're too big, and we're not dealing with, or the LGBT, everything is a distraction. While we're arguing about this low level shit, they're making big moves, and we just kind of playing the game.
That's all there is. So we gotta do better.
Yeah, just sheep's being led to the slaughter, in my opinion.
Yes.
So,
So kudos to Brazil for finally getting their shit together.
Yes,
slowly but surely, but it's better late than never. And hopefully we can have some real change there.
absolutely. So let's get into our meat and potatoes.
All right.
So yeah, I'm gonna let you bring us into this one.
Oh, this one's just simple and direct. We've all done it. We've all thought about it. When you're applying, well, maybe we have, when you're applying for jobs and
Mhm.
they ask you what your race is, and and some black folks mind, probably all of us at some point, we're like, do I want to choose not to answer? But sometimes they don't have that option. So if they can't see you, is it a phone interview? Do you mark white? Do you mark black? Do you mark black and white? Like, what do you mark? Like, do you like has you have you ever marked white on your application, or at least black and white, bare minimum?
Okay, so you're asking me a question?
No, that's just a question.
Okay,
And
that's the
I could
question. So,
open up and say,
okay,
I have. But see,
okay,
you've done HR, so you understand
yes.
how it works and what's seen. So when folks say choose not to answer, do they really know? I mean, let's say if you don't have any markers that give you away, like a name don't give you away, that could potentially give
Hmm.
you away. Are there
Hmm.
any markers of them knowing who you are?
So let me give this little piece of information in regards to that. Irregard, not regardless, but whatever you put or you if you declare not to disclose or you disclose, um, whether the HR people know it or not, because they may not know, oh, I'll know this. But your social security number tells any and everything about you. They don't have to see you. They don't have to talk to you. They don't have to know what your name is. If you tell them about your social security number, they can tell because certain of the digits tell your ethnicity. Some digits tell your gender. They can even tell like what region you were born in. So yes, it's definitely. I mean, whether you disclose or not, they know it. But again, not every HR person um, is aware of that or understands that because some people just don't even know that aspect of it. But yeah, you can look at a social and you can look and you can tell, okay, yeah, this is a black person and or this is a black woman or this is a white male or anything like that. Now, if again, like you said, those true identifiers, like if your name is Bonquisha or Ali something or Aaliyah or Ajabu or something. I mean, I think it's safe to presume certain things, just like if your name is Sarah or Susan or now Tiffany can go either way, you know. But if you name but if your name is Apple or Snowfall, I think we kind of know.
We know who you are.
I
Your
think
name is Apple Snowball.
I think we know exactly who you are. But yeah, so there are definitely ways to do it. But even if you choose not to self-identify, and that portion is just for reporting purposes because employers have to have a certain demographic of different groups. So they have to have a certain number of men, a certain number of women, certain number of minorities, certain number of white people. They're just things they just have to do. But if you put I elect or I choose not to disclose or something like that, or I don't want to answer, however you do it, um, we show up for that interview, they gonna know exactly who you are.
You don't know who you are, and they may get you on the case of saying, "Oh, you're dishonest,"
Hmm.
or I mean, but if they want you, they want you. So here's my thing then. Okay, I figure I have the justification to put white because of slavery and enslaved people. That's in my system somewhere. So technically, I'm claiming I want some of that privilege. Like I want some of that shit. So matter of fact, here's
Okay.
a question: do you think a person can change? Like I don't want to just put black. I want to put black and white on my license.
Okay.
Is that, do you think that's possible? Like that's my argument. Like this is slavery. I got that claim. I want some of that. I want some of that.
So, you definitely claim two or more races. You definitely can do that. Just as people, a lot of people lie on their license, like how tall are you,
Yeah.
or how much. The big one is how much you weigh, especially
Yeah.
with women. I don't think there's any woman out here who has her true exact weight, because I know for hell sure I don't have my exact weight on there, and no, I will not disclose that. Not even to my girlfriends will I tell them exactly what I weigh. That's none of your damn business. So people do falsify information, but in regards to the applications, the job applications, it's important for applicants to know that they have the power. These are voluntary questions which are designed to track diversity and answer such questions are for those people who feel comfortable enough sharing it. Answering or not should not make you feel obligated, forced, or otherwise coerced into sharing things about yourself that you wish to keep private. Feel empowered to use the I choose not to answer option. So that's definitely something that you can do. It's not mandatory. This is a voluntary section. They do want you to put something there because you can't move on with the applications if you don't mark something. But um a lot of times you can just do the like it says, I choose not to answer, or you can just do two or more. I don't know if I would only select white on a job application, because when my black ass shows up,
Okay, don't do that.
they companies are crafty, and they cannot fire you because you're not what they thought you were. However, they can still find a loophole to discriminate against you and to say you just were not a cultural fit and get let your ass go.
Yeah, they will find a way, especially if it's not government, so to speak, which is a little more difficult. A
Yes.
lot of times, if it's at will, especially if you're in the at will state.
Hmm.
But no, I would never. So I never mark white because there's no way I could hide that. But I do put. But there are times though I will say, depending on the location, like if you're living in
Hmm.
an all white, like there's been those times where we know we're the token, like we know, like oh I got this in the bag. So I'm like yes I
Hmm.
am black, I'm black. I'm black. I'm the one you want, and you boldly like yes, it's gonna work out in my favor. It
Hmm.
always does. So there are some times when it does, but those times you're not sure. But I asked that
Hmm.
question because I did try that trick one time in the company that I was with. I put black and white,
Hmm.
and I thought I was being slick. And the HR folks called me, and they called me only because it was something with my transcript. I guess the way my transcript was being sent, it wasn't showing the grades, it was showing a portion of it.
Okay.
So it was a place in Florida, and the sister said, I know that I want us to do well, so I just want to make sure that your resume or make sure that your transcript was fully being shown. So I'm playing stupid. I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean by us? You wait a minute. Like you know what I am. Like how the hell you know what I am? So I'm like, of course you know what I am because the company I'm in, they know everything. But I
Hmm.
just thought I wanted to fight chance. So I said it's useless. Like but I'm glad she told me that because all this time I was turning in the resume wasn't or the transcript wasn't showing the way I thought it was showing. But it
Okay.
did show me that okay, some of these folks do their due diligence. They know exactly who they're talking to.
Oh, yes. And you also have to realize too, in today's society of social media, if they, let's say you have an ambiguous name where it doesn't really give any white or black or your gender or anything like that, they will go on social media and look you up and see. And I think for a lot of many people, they have a LinkedIn account. It's depend, especially if you work in an office environment and you have education and things of that nature, you'll have a LinkedIn profile. They will find your ass on LinkedIn and they will be like, oh, there's the picture. Let me see. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Girl, she black.
That is true. That is true. And they'd be like, okay. Or they'd be like, you're acceptable. I guess we'll take you.
Yes, yes. And unfortunately, so let me say this. Of course, companies have to, adhere to diversity standards, but I do think that even in the workplace, if you are lighter, you definitely, are you're deemed as the less angry, less confrontational black. So you're more the acceptable black.
They took that shit from New Jack City. That's what that was. That's why Wesley Snipes got the main role, and Alan Payne got the was his right hand man. Because Alan Payne, as I said, he went for the main role. They
Hmm.
thought Wesley Snipes because he was darker, more mincing, he
Yeah.
got the role. So, but no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, there is definitely a way, like I said, and then I think that's why a lot of times, especially nowadays, you'll have that pre-screening call just to kind of talk to you for like 5 or 10 minutes so they can schedule the real interview so they can, make sure that everything is, okay. So yeah, how are you doing today? Oh yes, wonderful. Oh, okay. So tell me about yourself. Okay, good. Yeah, so it's like they're marking down, yeah, black person, lower
Mhm.
education or good education or articulate or things like that. So that way they can refer you on. So there's always a process to be able to catch you, to stop you. It used to be a situation where, and I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but it used to be a situation like back in the day before everything was so electronic. When you fill out your job applications, a lot of times people were being judged on their handwriting.
Mm.
And so people like employers or HR people would look at your handwriting and deem that you would not be a cultural fit just based upon your handwriting, based upon how you of course, it's always going to be a situation, especially with HR, because I know for me too, like when I'm looking at a job application, like an applicant's application or their resume and things, and I'm like, okay, you you be at work, you be doing something. Oh
Oh,
yeah, they
wait a
they
minute.
can't talk.
Wait a minute. Someone actually wrote. Wait a minute. Someone wrote this.
Yes.
I be at work.
Hmm. You would be amazed at some of the resumes that people actually submit. And the thing that, let me tell people out of listening, man, when you are applying for jobs, and hopefully our audience knows this and understands this, but please use professional email addresses. Don't use hot girl summer
Yeah.
290
Yeah.
296
Yes.
69 and thinking you
Yes.
about to get a damn job.
No.
Because that's going to be an immediate no.
And I will tell military. No, that's a good one. That's true. I look for that when I look at resumes. I'm like, come on now, you should have changed that. Like, I'm rooting for you, brother. Don't do me like
Yes.
this. And then I would tell also military personnel, this is important. When you're doing the resume, please take those skills and translate it into civilian language because although they're going to tell you all of that matters, but when they're actually hiring, none of that matters.
Mhm.
Even though all they'll tell you that they feed you that all that matters, we want veteran, we want you in, but you have to make it so that the folks understand. Because even the people that are on there that are veterans, they're taking those resumes and just sifting them through. Even though you put veteran 100%, Purple Heart, they're just throwing it to the side if you don't make it, if you don't translate it.
Mm.
So make sure that that translate also.
That's good information. That's
Because
definitely.
yeah, right. Because they'll sell you the dream that it matters. And I know that they hire certain folks, but really, those folks that I've seen there, veterans spent 10 years, they don't even talk about that. They don't say, man, we got to get a veteran up in here. They never talk about that. They just want the best person for the job. They don't care what you are or who you are. So that's the truth.
Mm. Okay, so let me ask this
Okay.
question. So
Mhm.
let me ask this question then. So because I know that in government jobs or when you're vying for a government position, I do know that veterans get pushed up a lot faster to the hiring manager than a civilian would. Or jobs that are open to the public because they have that phrase on there on USA Jobs, open to the public. But if you're a veteran or if you're disabled, you go higher up. So it's like a ranking system, so to speak. Now, is that correct or
Oh,
mine?
that's correct. It's a point
Okay.
system. So I know veterans can get like a 10-point preference. I think you have like a 5-point, 10-point preference.
Okay.
You have the Schedule A letter, which is like a letter stating that you have a disability. So
Hmm.
you definitely get those points. But when you come there, the thing that can hurt you because if you're looking at the entire matrix, I mean, they're scoring your resume. I know you know that, and they're just looking for certain things. And I've seen a guy literally, he had all that background, 100% Purple Heart, but he put HR and then he literally just put his job titles. He didn't put anything at all, just listed his job titles, and he had all this white listed, just all this space. So I'm like, we can't do anything for you. But his
Yeah.
personality was great. But his resume, that's the thing that hurt him. He lost out by a couple of points. I think he would have been great, but just because he didn't put anything.
Yeah,
So
I don't understand why people, you know, as much, like you said, as much information is out there, especially when it comes to like employment situations, why people are not researching that to make sure, because uh, as we all know, in different time periods or just different times, resume styles change and they're updated. So certain information is required on them. Some things may not be so prevalent, some things may be prevalent, but the style of it changes in reference to how you label and categorize things. So it's definitely something interesting, but yeah.
let me ask you, have you ever marked white or black and white?
So I've done two or more races. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Um, I try not to do anything that's going to incriminate myself. So I don't want to do anything like, you know, Native American or something like that when I know I am not from anybody's tribe that I know of, you know, or anything like that, or I'm not, you know, Pacific Islander or
Yes.
something. Yeah, I'm not going to incriminate myself. And then if you put that, you know, you're Hispanic or something, and then they're thinking, okay, we got somebody bilingual, and then you show up and they ask you, they start talking Spanish, and
Oh shit.
you like, no hablo inglés.
Yeah.
It's just like, they gonna be like, no, 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 no.
That is true. You can definitely get yourself caught up that way.
Mhm.
You can definitely get yourself caught up. So, okay, how about this? Let's say you do ancestry.com and you find out, okay, I have all of these Pacific Island, Native American, I'm all of this stuff. Now, do you feel like let me mark everything down?
Okay, so let me say this. I think even in today's workforce, it's still deemed as the what is it, one drop rule.
Yeah.
So basically, if you appear ethnic in any sort of way, you cannot mark white. Now, you may be able to do two or more races. You could say that you're biracial. You could say that your family is originally from, or blah, 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 your parents, anything like that. But to say that you yourself are a white person, they're gonna be like, okay, so we need to call what is it, Wrigley's Believe It or Not.
Yes. Something's funny you should say that because some folks who are, let's say, I know in California, Mexican, they mark white on their resume. So,
Well, because so like some
or
Hispanics or people of Espanol or Latin Americans or something like that, because their features are so European, because the European is very dominant in their bloodline. So yes, they can get away with that and they can pass and everything will be okay. But if you are darker than the paper bag and all that stuff, yeah, you just can't do it. And I don't care. You can't say, well, yeah, I'm white, but you know, I tan a lot. They're gonna be like, okay, but you definitely because you got to remember too, however you think it is, they gonna look at the palm of your hand. The palm of your hand is gonna tell your true color.
oh boy, that's true. As a matter of fact, speaking of tanning, I remember this job years ago. I was working. I love just saying little things. So I was
Hmm.
working at this job at a nursing home, and there was this older white man, like clockwork. Every day he was out there sunbathing. Every day he almost began to look like me. And I don't know if his hearing wasn't always the best, but I told him you better stop all that tanning. It didn't do me any good. So if you out there driving, the police gonna stop you. But it looks good on you. Keep doing it though. But he didn't hear what I said though. So, but no, some will tan and yes, they will tan like no other.
Yes, they will definitely tan and they will have skin cancer. But anyway,
Yes, boy, I tell you. So, okay, I guess I better stop. No, I stopped marking that years ago. Start marking that.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll put two or more just because I'm like I claim, but I need to see if I can get that put on my license. Just because, like, I'm glad I love what I am, but I'm like, technically I can claim some of that. So let me put two or more on my license.
So let me say this, even if it's on your license, when the police stop you, they could care
I
less
know.
what's on your license. They're gonna treat certain groups, how they're gonna treat them. If you're of like Hispanic descent or whatever, they're going to think that you part of the Bloods or the Crips, depending on where you are in this country. So, I, you can put that you're a unicorn
Yeah.
or that you're a purple people, was it purple people? I can't say it.
People eater? Is that what
There
that is?
you go. You could
Yeah.
say that. And it does not make a damn difference. Now, I do know, and I do remember reading, I think this is the early part of this year, they were talking about changing or allowing certain different verbiage to be on licenses. I think it was in regards to race and gender. They were trying to update it and something like that, be more inclusive on things. But yeah, but again, it just
They
doesn't make
see
any
you though,
difference.
it's a different story. But I'm trying to go off of listen, I'm a dark Italian. I'm a dark Italian. So the Italian cop get me, hey man, I'm one of y'all. I'm just you know how it is.
Okay, so can you start speaking Italian for me? Let me just hear.
I gotta learn that shit first. See, I just claimed them, so I gotta learn it now. Now I do have a story. I don't want to put this out there. Did I tell you the story about when I met a mob guy back in and how he claimed me as one of theirs?
No, what happened?
Okay. Well, the job we it was a tight knit job in this particular place that I was living in the Northeast.
Hmm.
And this guy, when he would come to the hospital, the folks would say, "Get his room ready. He's coming. He's coming." They would say his name. So I'm like, he's just another guy. Like, why are they tripping? So I guess he has a past of mafia activities, and he seemed nice, and he was just charismatic. And I remember I was assigned to him. I'm like, why they put me on him for? And classic Italian guy, and
Hmm.
it was like being around. You ever have like a pit bull? A pit bull is just out there. You like, who dog is that? Right? It's just out there. And you like, as long as it stay right there, it's not moving, barking, it's cool. So he was
Hmm.
nice to me, but it was always one of those things. He always wanted to offer me stuff and here, go ahead, take this. I'm like, no, I don't want anything from you. I don't want to owe you. I don't want a piece of pizza. No, go ahead. I insist. So I was like, let me just take it. I don't want to insult you. And he gave me
Right.
a cookie. I was like, this is a good ass cookie. So
Hmm.
I was hoping, but anyway, I remember, I guess the way I would communicate with my hands a lot. He was like, "Hey, y'all, he's Italian, meet." He introduced me to these folks, and they came in like 12 deep with the slick back hair, the Adidas tracksuits,
You
and
ain't had the Sopranos in there with
yeah, he was a real deal. And then, but I knew he was a real deal because one of my coworkers actually celebrated a promotion, so he invited me to go out with him.
you.
And a
Okay.
coworker said, this man came up and asked her about, hey, how are your children? And just some strange man. She's like, well, how'd you know I have children? And then I know I had a strange man ask me about, hey, I didn't know you live in this I didn't know you live in this neighborhood over there. So how the hell do you know where I live? And then I remember being outside of the place and you see that unmarked cop car. They're just sitting there watching the place. So he was the real deal. He's open about it. I done my time, but I knew he was the real deal when I heard him on the phone. I was gonna check on him while I was doing my rounds. I overheard him say something about tuning somebody up. So I said, the hell I'm going in there. I'm backing the hell up. I don't want to hear that shit. So that's when I knew he talked about tuning somebody up, and I heard that shit verbatim. So I got a chance to hang out with, so I can claim Italian.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
So on that note, I am going to I think we need another break so we can all digest Vagabond being Italian. Italian. Because
Excellent
this is
Italian.
yeah, I'm gonna need you to yeah, I need a break to kind of get my mind wraps around this because this is
And we don't have sauce, we have gravy. They call it gravy.
oh,
See,
okay.
I know it.
Okay.
And,
I'm happy you do. So on that note, we'll see you guys in a few moments.
okay.
Alrighty, so we are back for our final portion. So go ahead and lead us in.
Yeah, keep this short and simple. Do alpha women scare men?
Hell yeah. Go ahead.
And why do you say that?
Because I think men historically have been used to running things, have been used to being in charge. And when you come across a woman who is more dominant or who is an alpha woman, it can scare men if she doesn't need you to save her. It can scare men. But I think for some men, that's a turn on because I think some men have gotten to a point in their lives where they run everything else. So when it comes to their woman or their relationship, they want to just release the reins and say, just do what you do.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And I think another
Hmm.
thing that influences that is that there's like a media archetype of what the strong woman is, what the
Hmm.
alpha woman is. So oftentimes when she says, I'm a strong, independent woman, or I'm an alpha, then alarm bells may go off in some men's heads. And I think the reason
Hmm.
being because I guess like I say this, like independent people don't need to tell you they're independent. Like people, I think people who are scared of losing themselves in another person do, or strong people, don't need to tell you they're strong. But I think people who are being scared of being taken advantage do. And alpha people, man or woman, they don't need to tell you that they're alpha. Like true alpha men or women tend to be, I think they have nothing to prove. They're just like, I have nothing to prove. I'm alpha. But controlling people often, I think, mistake themselves as alpha when they're really the opposite. But that's
Hmm.
true though. Sometimes it is a turn on. It is a turn on, and I think it has its place.
Yeah, I think, when we're thinking about this too, you gotta remember that there's a whole industry, the porn industry, that that likes dominatrix, that like women to run things. And there are quite a few men who like that. They want to be dominated over. They want to, excuse me, loose the reins and let the woman just do what she do. I do think that just from a power standpoint, it can be a little tough to digest for some men because, like I said, they are used to being in control and to used to running things. So let me ask you, do you find an alpha woman intimidating? Do you find it sexy, or you're just indifferent about it?
Oh, I find this sexy because typically what I find about alpha or alpha women,
Hmm.
when I classify, as a matter of fact, I I find that they know what they want in life. So that's the thing that I like. Like they know exactly what they want. They're not afraid to go get it. It's motivating. They seem to cherish honesty and vulnerability because like when they open up, I think it when they open up, then it's some real stuff. I think they can read people well. That's something that I notice about alpha women. They can read the hell out of someone. So it's nice to say, as I talked about last week about characteristics I look for, you can walk in a room and it's like, okay, I got you on my shoulder. I know whatever bullshit I don't get, you got whatever bullshit, and vice versa.
Hmm.
So I know that you can read folks well. So between the two of us, it's like you're not gonna get anything biased. Um, they demand respect, but they can typically respect others as well. They could be at times kind of intense, but I think that can be a good thing.
Hmm.
It just depends, and they tend to know their worth, and when they're not getting that worth, I'm talking about true alpha, not assholes, but true alpha females. They tend to
Hmm.
know their worth, and it's not that they don't, I guess, need a man, but I guess they don't need anyone who's not on the same page. So it's like they want like when they find someone, they'll go all out and show you. I just find that they're into it. But if you're just bringing them down, then they just don't need you. So I tend to love it. I tend to love
Okay.
it. And then men understand that I don't need a man thing. It's just saying like I don't need the wrong guy. So you're
Hmm.
able to put the two and two together.
Okay. Okay. I definitely think there is validity to that. I think that there are men who enjoy a woman who exudes this sort of confidence, this sort of I'll take control type thing, because again, it lets him, like in his work, in his outside the home, he's so busy running things. And they enjoy that. She's the ones that her friends admire. She's the one that guys want to have in their life. This woman is ambitious and driven. She's mysterious, successful, and stubborn, yet intriguing. A powerful woman is not single out of bad luck. Rather, she's single because she has too much self love and respect to settle for anything less than what she deserves. And I completely agree. I do think that there are women out there who are um, deemed as alpha or powerful women, very confident, exudes confidence. Um, I do think sometimes, just as anybody, we can be chameleons and we can put on a show or fake certain aspects of our life. But I think a truly genuine alpha woman or powerful woman is going to be that in any situation. There's just going to be just her nature. And I think it's also a situation that, going back to historical again, how men have always been deemed as the provider, the protector, things of that nature. Or if you think from a biblical standpoint, you want a man to lead you in the right direction. However, when you have men who don't know what direction they're going in, somebody has to lead the ship. And so the woman just steps up and she says, you know what? I'm going to do it. I got this. Just let me handle it. I'm going to take care of both of us. But, I'm gonna also be able to be nurturing to you as well. Let me say this. I think that it's a beautiful thing when a um, alpha woman takes charge and does what she needs to do. But I also think that there's a fine line that she has to toe and not emasculate the man because she wants to be so much in charge. She is making him feel less than. You don't have to make another person feel less than to be superior in the situation.
Oh, you said a mouthful right there. And I think that's the stereotype that a lot of men get.
Hmm.
Oh, you're gonna emasculate me. And there's a great saying, it's about having just tact and balance. So as a great saying, a spoonful of honey will catch more flies than a gallon of vinegar. So it's just having that balance of saying I'm strong, but
Hmm.
yet, like you said, I can be supportive, be this and this. Matter of fact, I think alpha, I can see it for what it is, but I think a better term is just been called secure and self-sufficient because that's
Hmm.
kind of what alphas are. It doesn't mean you don't need anyone, but you're saying, hey, I'm just who I am, and this is just how I operate. They're not open to, I guess, love. They're just who they are. They want it, but it's like I'm not like desperate, I guess.
Hmm.
And yet, so let me ask you this. I know about putting you in a box and everything. Like I know you can't put you in a box. Would you say like, are you alpha, or would you say a mixture, or just undefined? Like, how would you classify if you had to say one or the other?
So I would definitely say that I would definitely be a more of an alpha woman because I am not phased by other people and how they navigate. I can do what I need to do. I can take care of things. I can pay my bills. And it's not just about that, but it's just that I know the direction that I'm going. And I would like a man to be able to come into the picture and we can do this together. And then at that point, if I felt, and I've always said this, um, I think I'm an alpha woman who can be submissive to the right man. However, if I don't feel like you're leading us in the right direction, get behind me. I got this, and that's just all it is to it. So yes, I definitely think that I consider myself an alpha woman, but I feel like I'm an alpha woman who lends herself to more at times to a more submissive nature because I want to continue to make men feel like men, allow them to be who they are, allow their caveman aspect to come into play. But at a certain point, I'll be like, okay, player,
Yes.
ice that shit. It's not gonna work.
It's exactly. Because I know I'm definitely not an advocate for personally the old-fashioned viewpoint that a woman should be quiet and nice and agreeable creatures who exist solely just to please their husbands. No, I just because that would bore me personally. Like I'd be like, man, you need to show me some more spunk. Like do
Yeah.
something. Like so. Matter of fact, I think the perfect example of a balance is the male lion and the female lioness because hear me out. Like they have different roles. Like when it comes down
Hmm.
to the hunting, like the male lion is there to discourage anyone else from coming in there. So when they see him,
Hmm.
like, oh shit, let me back up.
Right.
But the female, the lioness, she's able to, she does the catching. So if it wasn't for her, the male lion would be in trouble. Like he has to step back because he's not as fast, as mobile. Matter of fact, I've seen male lions. I mean, they can catch when they need to, but for the most part, they miss a lot of catches because they're just not they're too massive. They're just not mobile. The
Yeah,
female
they're
lion
not
can,
built for that.
yeah. So everyone has their different roles, but one can't survive without the other. So
Exactly.
I think that's the perfect example of that. If men understood, like, you have a powerful woman by your side, you understand, like, she's gonna catch. Listen, she's gonna catch a lot of stuff you just don't see. As we talked
Hmm.
about some earlier episodes, she can catch stuff in the relationship that you won't see. A perfect example, as we talked about, oftentimes when a man's with a woman and you have that other woman that's trying to get in, she's trying to get in, and a man's like, I'm not even thinking about that woman. I don't even see her. But the
Hmm.
woman sees it, like she sees it. She's on top of it. And the man might
Hmm.
see it later on, like, oh shit, she really was pushing up on me. But the woman will see it ahead of time and try to, mitigate it. But the man truly doesn't see it.
Yeah.
One of many examples.
Yeah. I mean, men tend to be oblivious sometimes to certain situations,
Yeah.
just because I think men tend to have this um I don't want to say this realism about them, but I think the men don't have, it's somewhat tunnel vision, but somewhat not tunnel vision, because when a man is trying to do something, he's going to do it. Um, but I think that he can do it, but he's still going to be looking, looking around and, making sure he's okay. But um, this premise of the alpha woman, as you mentioned earlier, can sometimes be construed as, she's trying to wear the pants, or she's too cocky, or, just the negative tropes about her because she takes charge. But again, we have to remember this is a male dominated society. So men are going to look at anything to make a woman more primitive in their eyes in any way they can.
Right, right. And yeah, and like you just said, it's really the media because alphas really aren't bullies. And like you say, you just have a lot of folks that are just misconstruing the term, and
Hmm.
I think I guess everyone likes who they like. And maybe there are some men who says, "Hey, I want me a Puritan woman from the 17 1800s that just listen to whatever I say."
You ain't say Puritan woman.
Yeah, you just listen to whatever I say. Like if I say jump, matter of fact, if I say jump, you don't say how high. You jump and don't come down till I tell you to land. But I didn't tell you to land. You stay up in that air. Like that's what
Okay.
some that's what some want. But that would
Okay.
but that would absolutely not be. I'd be like, don't like have a little grit, a little fight. And
Right.
it's some, I guess some men who aren't afraid of that understand that that could be a beautiful thing to have
Well,
that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like you said, I think it was last episode or episode before last, when you said you want a ride or die, you said you like that. So I would definitely think that you would enjoy an alpha, quote unquote,
Yeah.
woman, because she's going to be a ride or die for sure.
Ride or die for sure. And it's one of those things like Cable Guy. Cable Guy, when Jim Carrey told the dude, I could be your best friend or your worst enemy. So when you
Hmm.
have that, there's two things. You got to protect that heart and make sure you're doing your part because she can also flip that same energy sometimes if she's really into it deep, and that can really, yeah, that can come back and bite you. So if she chooses to do that,
Hmm.
yeah, but that's great. There's nothing quite like that. And just for
Yeah.
those who are intimidated, and then don't even worry about the money part because I'm sure whatever thing that the man has thought about, let's say she make more, and I never understood again just why a guy would get mad if she makes significantly more.
Hmm.
For one thing, it's if you understand the assignment, you know that hey, you guys are pushing each other, but it's not like in a competition way. You are pushing each other. She gets it. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go for that promotion too. I've been thinking about going for. Or
Hmm.
you might push for something and she sees you're getting it. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna push a little bit more. I've been
Hmm.
in this company too long. Let me push for a little bit more or go. So you feed off of each other in a non-confrontational, non-competitive way. That's how it works.
Hmm.
So for those, I'm just saying like it's a beautiful thing for those who, and then if she's winning, you guys are winning. So I would say for the guys who
Exactly.
get upset about her making more money, are you looking at this in the sense of a team or individual? Like, have you given up your, I mean, you're an individual, but have you say that, hey, we're a team? Are you looking at the long game? If she wins, you're winning.
Well, I think men do have very fragile egos. Men tend to feel like if they can't do certain things, that they're not able to truly support their woman. But like you said, if you're thinking about this as a team and you're both coming together, then that means that if she's making more money, then there's more money being put into our combined pot household where we can do things, we can accomplish certain goals. It's not just about, a man. Okay, she makes $20,000 more than me annually. Okay, and it's just a little bit of money. Now, I could see if you were making like 45,000 and she was making 210,000. First of all, she out your damn league. So leave her the fuck alone. That's just let me just
Well, hold on, hold on. Let me reverse it though. What if she's making 45,000 and he's making 200,000? Is it different as far as the leagues, or is it supposed to be that way?
so let me say this.
Okay.
I do think that he is probably out of her league as well because just of his financial status, the things he's able to get, the trips that he's able to take, the experiences that he's able to have, she can't have those. So that person making with that different gap, financial wealth gap, yeah, I think he's definitely out of her league too. Now, I just feel like our society has made it acceptable for her to pursue him or him to pursue her because he has more money. But then it also puts into a situation where because he makes more money, he feels like he can run her and make her do certain things or tell her certain things. Prime example, when you look at the athletes, the male athletes, and they're playing basketball or football, and they have these women who probably don't even have a damn job. They're they're there just to like the All-Star Weekend chicks. They're there to get pregnant and to lock him down. But in all reality, in doing that, because he has so much wealth and so much access, he's able to go out and cheat on you and then you want to complain about it. You're dating out of your league. What do you expect?
Well,
If you were a balling like a CEO of a company, kind of like how we were talking about the McDonald's CEO, or whatever, if you were making annually 11 million and he has a contract for 20 million, okay, he may think a little bit. He may think a little different about cheating on you or doing certain things that he would do to a woman who does not have that capital because he knows that, well, damn, she really don't need me. She's not relying on these finances that I'm bringing into the house. Her lifestyle is going to maintain whether I'm in it or not, you know?
yeah, but I'm gonna speak up for the women at the All Star Weekend. They do have jobs. They're masseuses. Like they are independent contractors.
Yes, they are definitely independent contractors because they, yeah, I'm just gonna say, it, I'm gonna be nice. Yes, they're
And for
definitely,
those and for those women staying at home, see, I got to think a little bit differently. They're not sitting there waiting to get cheated. Steph Curry's mother allegedly was out
Mhm.
there doing her thing, so it just shows you that those housewives are doing their thing too. But they don't shoot the 3 pointers, they don't slam dunk the basketball, they don't score the touchdown, so they can kind of just slither in there. I think they're getting a little
But
smarter.
it also goes into what I was saying. Like they are definitely unevenly yoked,
Yeah,
unevenly matched.
yeah,
So yes, she's going to have her things as well because he does not have the available time.
yeah.
He's out doing his thing. So she feels like, well, if he doing his shit, I'm gonna do my shit. Yeah, because so now, what does they say? What is that saying? Wrong does not beget, right? It just
Yeah.
begets even more wrong. And so I definitely think so. But I feel like if she was making 11 million annually and he has a $20 million contract, she's focused on her money. She's focused on I got to keep this train rolling. Whereas if he's out cheating, do what you got to do. I got okay because I got people I got to worry about. So her mindset is totally different. Whereas a woman who's at home, she's checking the phone every few minutes. She's doing all these things because she's like, okay, he's not here, you know. And if he gets hurt, okay, I can't go to Chanel. I can't get this Hermes bag or, just these frivolous types of things. But yeah, I definitely feel like you're dating out of your league. But again, society deems it more acceptable for a woman to make less than a man, and it's okay. But if a woman made substantially more, then it's like, oh yeah, she thinks she's too good or, she's not wifey material. What?
Oh, that's foolish thinking right there. Like, you better go on and grab her. It's like if she, as a matter of fact, it's like choice. Like if she knows the situation and say, I still choose you, she's
Mm-hmm.
choosing you. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's choosing you. She can be anywhere, do everything, but she's choosing you. So I'm glad. Let's go take it back to the money. Let's take it back to the money and out of the league. So let's just say, throw me a fictitious number that you would say is too far for you that would say, oh, he is out of my league.
Well, let me say this because I know that my earning potential and I
Yeah,
know that, at some point I will get there.
yeah,
So I don't think there's anything, but okay, okay, let me say this. I would definitely say Jeff Bezos is out of my league.
yes.
I would definitely say um, Brian Allen may be out of my league. However, that does not mean that if he came to me or if he was interested in me, that I would not be able to acclimate to his lifestyle very well.
Yes.
I definitely be able to. But yeah, he'll be out of my league. The stuff that he's accustomed to, some of the stuff I may not even know about, you know?
Right. No, I meant like you're on the other end. Let's say you're making $1 million a year.
Okay.
So what is a number that a man come at you be like, nope, that doesn't meet. You're not even worthy to smell my mouthwash. Like you're not. Mm-mm.
So let's say if I'm making $1 million annually and he would at least have to be making six figures. At least.
I
He
got
would
you.
at least have to know something.
I got you.
If you make it under six figures, it's like, yeah, player, we
Yeah,
on two different levels.
I got you. I got you. Hey, I respect that honesty.
Yeah, yeah, I
I respect
definitely
that honesty.
do.
I respect that honesty.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, no, no. I would just say I do wonder if men carry that same um, thing as far as if a woman's making this. I don't know,
So
not so much. I don't.
let me say this. If a woman looks appealing to the man, then he can overlook her where her economic status because he's thinking about what I'm not getting in this financial resources. Like I don't think a guy, well, no, but let me say this. A guy making $1 million a year, he probably would kick it with a chick making 35, 45,000, 50,000 a year because he's looking at her as a toy to play with versus a viable option to incorporate into his everyday life. I
Oh,
think that he would definitely try to find a woman who has either from a certain old money upbringing or she's new money, but she can play in the same stratosphere that he's in. Yes.
oh, definitely. I mean, she could be making 30,000 a year EBT, and he'll still take her. But I'm talking about the ones that he sees as viable, what he can grow with. I I think then if he wants to truly incorporate her in her life, then
Hmm.
she's going to have to be able to present herself in a certain way. He's like, okay, now I'm looking at you as a serious option. So you can't be out impressed that the table has salt and pepper. Like you got salt and pepper here. Oh my God, this is somewhere fancy. It's like, calm down. We're at the Sizzler. Is the
Okay.
Sizzler still out there?
I don't know. But she can't also be like, if you take her to a really, really nice restaurant or an event, and kind of like those charitable events, and they have multiple like forks or something like that. She gonna be like, which one am I supposed to be using? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. It's too many. I'm gonna use the same one for everything. No,
Supposed to do
no.
that again. I like that.
No,
I know.
she can't have the nails out to here and the weaves way down to her booty and be like, this is what we not gonna be doing. This is what we not,
Yeah.
clacking her nails and no.
Yeah. And popping a gun like, oh, why he so bougie? This waiter, I don't like him. Get somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. He is going to take her to places that are more in line with what she's accustomed to versus a woman who's accustomed to going on a yacht and actually enjoying a nice dinner or something romantic. Yeah, he's not gonna do that for her.
Nah, no, not at all. Not at all.
Absolutely. So let's get into what do you hate this week about our topic?
Right. Of course, this ex cop being sentenced. I hate that he basically got away with murder. Thomas Lane got away with murder, and his attorney, I guess, on the basis of he has a newborn baby and he doesn't want to risk being apart from the child's life and spending 12 years. And even though that's 12 years, The Floyds have a life sentence, and the daughter, she's gonna be missing her father for life. The brothers, the uncles, everyone's missing out. So, I mean, is this cop going to make an attempt to make that up to them? Hell no. So I highly doubt it. So fuck him and fuck the system for the umpteenth time. As far as McDonald's, in this $10 billion discrimination suit, I hate the fact that you know Myron Allen has to, I guess, do this just to ask for this economic conclusion. Like it's sad, like it's not something that's a given. I mean, considering they earn upwards, of, I think 100 billion a year, and worldwide, I mean, they're everywhere. So that this, I mean, they have these in black neighborhoods feeding this crap to black folks. It's killing them, and yet they're so unwilling to invest in the least a bit. I mean, they won't even put five. It's a little under four, I believe. So I hate that. I hate that, and it's pretty much financial genocide as far as I'm concerned, because you're killing off these black media outlets, which kills jobs, which kills. It's just a chain reaction. And do you mark white? I hate the fact that we even have to consider that. I know folks have marked it. They put it, half and half. Of course, you can't really get away. But some folks, if it's a faceless interview, you're probably going to put white. Be like, I'll take my chances. I just want this damn job. And when I show up, they'll be like, surprise, I'm not white, but I'm still good at what I do. So I just hate the fact that we have to. My teeth are white, so how about that? Does that count? I mean, you didn't say what part of me had to be white. And then technically you'd be like, well, what is race anyway? I'm part of the human race. You should have worded it differently if you really want to be an asshole about it. That's what I would do. So I just hate that we have to go through those measures. And as far as alpha women, I guess I just hate the fact that media misconstrues what it means to be alpha. It's not someone who's a bully, who's an asshole, but it's just someone who's secure and self-sufficient. And it doesn't show the beauty of being with a woman who's alpha or secure and self-sufficient. There's a lot of upsides to it that I think a lot of men miss out on. And and again, I'll just go back to the quote. A spoonful of honey will catch more flies than a gallon of vinegar. So to the women who are alpha, just make sure you're really alpha and not an asshole. There's a difference. And that just about wraps it up. So
Okay.
how about yourself, Blue?
So I'm gonna ask you your take on the globe aspect about Brazil.
Oh gosh, yes, I forgot. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting something. I just hate the fact that it took 132 years to do this. And the fact that some of the Brazilians are as dark as I am. And if they're looking at it from that way, it's just like nothing in you said that, hey, this is my brother. Like somehow, like why am I treating them any differently? And I get the colonized mindset. So I hate the fact that it just took so long. It took so long for these folks to be not seen as invisible. I mean, it's 2022 and they're just it's just now happening. So I hate that shit. But yeah, it's I knew Brazil had some fucked up history, and of course a lot of it. And you have Nazis that are over there. It's a lot of stuff that goes on over there. But this
Mhm.
right here is just one of those things that just adds gasoline to the fire. So I hate that shit.
Okay. So what I hate in regards to the ex-cop sentenced, I hate that our judicial system is so fucked up. I hate the fact that there seems to be a war on killing Black people. I hate the fact that people of color or minorities are always targeted, and white people are able to do all kinds of foolishness, and life goes on. It's like it's okay for them to act a fool, but when we act a fool, it's just ridiculous. So that's what I hate about that. What I hate in regards to McDonald's having to appear in this discrimination lawsuit brought on by Byron Allen, I think that first of all, McDonald's I mean, I think it's good and it's bad. It's good because they're selling poison to us anyway. That McDonald's shit is ridiculous. I saw something, oh, I forgot where it was, or something program I was watching, and they showed this woman, a white woman. I guess it was like, I guess her idea of like a time capsule or something. But anyway, she had a McDonald's It was either a Big Mac or a hamburger, or quarter pounder, one of them. She had it was like in a box, and it was like 20 years later.
Mm.
She opened it up and took the wrapper off it. You know, she bought it and just put it in this thing, never did nothing to it. The bun was still intact. There was no mold to it. The burger still looked like it had just been cooked yesterday.
What?
So this shit is trash, and y'all need to stop eating this fast food foolishness. But I hate in regards to that they're pushing this. You know, you can't push drugs in our neighborhoods. You're gonna push this fast food mess. I hate that aspect. And I just hate the fact of McDonald's being discriminating against black media when black people consume your shit. We're at 40% consumption of your trash. Um, the thing I hate about the news about Brazil allowing this first time in history this region being counted. The thing I hate about that is the fact that it took this long for these people to be recognized via a census counted as people. I hate the fact that other Brazilians did not protest, did not do anything prior to now. And I don't know if their protest, they even protested, it was just something that they did it just because there were more black people running or people more identifiable as African. But this is ridiculous that we still have people not being counted who who are descendants of enslaved people. This is just ridiculous. In 2022, we still got this shit going on. Insane. But everybody love to run to Brazil. Everybody love, especially men, they love to run to Brazil to have sex with these Brazilian women. But that's another topic. We'll get into that another day. Um, in regards to marking white on your application, the thing I hate is that we even have to make this choice. That's what I hate in regards to that. We shouldn't have to be forced into, I don't want to say forced, but we shouldn't have to be in a position where we have to self-identify. If I'm an applicant, I should just be judged on my resume, the thing, my experience, what I've done, my education, my qualifications. It should make a difference if I'm male, if I'm female, if I'm black, if I'm white, if I'm a veteran or not. It shouldn't make a difference. Now, I understand a little bit better, more so when it comes to the veteran status, because these people have fought for this country, so you want to try to make provisions for them. I get that. I understand when it comes to women, you know, the gender aspect, but yet and still, it's still a situation where why do we have to identify at all? Why can't it just be based upon our merits? What did you do? How are you, you know, those types of things. The thing I hate in regards to when it comes to alpha women scaring men, or does alpha women scare men, is the fact that men's egos um are so delicate that they are intimidated or fearful of a strong woman, whether she's strong in will, she's strong in physical stature, she's strong in whatever aspect. Why does that intimidate you? Why does that scare you? This is a woman, and I would think that just as from a species standpoint, you want to get somebody who is the most durable, the most strongest. Like in nature, they attract to people like men, male animals, or yeah, male animals go for women who are deemed like, okay, yeah, she's gonna have me some good kids. You know what I'm saying? So and that's indicative of a strong woman. Just because she's making money does not make it any less. It's just ridiculous. So I hate the fact that we still have these antiquated gender stereotypical roles that we have to live by, and people are scared of that. So that's what I hate this week.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's just insane. But yeah, this week I don't really have any shout outs. I just want to shout just our listeners. I just want to shout our listeners out because our listeners are very important and very integral. So I thank you all for that. You have any shout outs this week or anything? Like anybody
Shout out
come
to
across your
shout out to our listeners. Shout out to you for being strong, not strong, strong
oh
woman,
strong.
a
Okay.
strong woman. So shout out to you. Yeah, yeah, no shout outs. I'm just I'm just here. I'm good. I'm just
Okay.
very content. Um, just very content with
Okay.
where I am because a lot of times when you're in the journey, I was just reminded that it's good to be content in the journey because if you're not content in the journey, you're not going to be content when you get there. Kind of like a little parable. There was a man who made 20,000 a year, and then he, ended up making 50,000, and he
Mm,
was complaining. So it's like, wait a minute, you were just making, 20, and then all of a sudden he got three times as much, 150, and you're still complaining because you want to be a millionaire. But wait a minute, remember you were to 20 to 50, now you're at 150. So that's just
mhm.
reminding me is that if you're not just if you're not content in the journey, then you won't be content. You'll never be content.
Exactly.
And then you'll end up being a vagabond, a wanderer. Like I put that in there.
I see you tried to circle it back. I appreciate that. So
Yes.
what's your flyaway this week? What are your final thoughts to us?
My flyaway is just to be content. That's where I'm going. Just be content with where you are. It's difficult, easier said than done sometimes, but just take
Hmm.
yourself back, be content, and also have a plan. Because I'm going back to school as I mentioned to you, just to take on this contracting. And I'm learning about just the importance of planning through and through. You want to have a plan for the thing that's going to knock you off course. Because every time you have a plan, there's always something that can knock you off course. A
Hmm.
barrier. Just so plan for the barrier. For whatever it is you're doing, write it down, have a journal, and plan for both. A journal for the plan, a journal for the barrier. When this thing comes up, how am I going to take this on so that it's not a barrier and it won't stop me from the overall goal. So that's my takeaway.
Okay. So my flyaway this week is just going to be welcome fall. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I'm so looking forward to it. I am happy about it. It'll start getting cold. People will stay their ass in the house,
Yes.
and maybe hopefully some of the crime will go down just all over this country because the kids can't get out and get into stupid shit. They'll be at home, and then I can actually go and travel and enjoy myself. Hotel prices will finally go down,
Mm-hmm.
so I can take a trip. I'm just ready
Yes.
and excited about it. And my another part of my flyaway is going back to something we talked at the opening of the show. If you're at the movie theater, put your phone away.
Really.
Don't do. And why do people now? And I understand that they should never put flashlights on phone because now people when they come into the theater coming all late, they have their flashlight on and they trying to find their seats. That shit is still distracting. Turn
It
that
really is.
bright ass strobe beam off and sit the fuck down.
I'm gonna put you on game where I go after.
Please,
I got you. I got you.
please, because this shit is ridiculous.
I got you.
So that is my flyaway. We're gonna go ahead and end this here, so I can learn where Vagabond goes, so that I can go and have a peaceful movie going experience. On that note, you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy some of the cooler weather. Get out and just live your best life.
Peace.
Please follow, rate, and comment about this podcast. We are on all major podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. You can also email us at wehateyoupodcast@gmail.com. That is again, wehateyoupodcast, all one word, @gmail.com. You can email us with any comments, topics you want us to discuss, or if you just have something you want to share about why you hate people. And for those lucky listeners, we will select your email and we'll read it during the episode. We'll comment, we'll talk about it, we'll give you your props. So tell a friend and listen and follow. Discuss the podcast at the water cooler as we drop new episodes every Monday. So enjoy and remember, nothing, that's right, nothing is off limits.